is there, I'm searching for any sort of hope here that we could recover from this identity politics nightmare. Is there a chance that because of these sort of contradictions, identity politics will collapse in on itself, or will it require a greater effort to rid ourselves of that problem?
Okay, I'll tell you, I am hopeful. I'll tell you the reason why I'm hopeful. I think the reason I wrote my book, The Plot to Change America, is to shed light on what has happened. I think Americans first need to be aware of what happened, who did it, how they did it, why they did it, before we can start thinking of ways of reversing what has happened. I think at the end of the day, uh, these are all really at heart, whether they're culturally Marxist or economic Marxist, these are Marxist ideas. The conflict is a purely Marxist concept of all of life being nothing but conflict between groups and power dynamics. But at the end of the day, Marxists set out to do the impossible. It is a supremely vain attempt at changing human nature. Che Guevara said he wanted to create the new man. But human nature is unchangeable, right? If you read the Odyssey, the Iliad, if you read the Bible, you come across people like Ulysses and Achilles and Agamemnon and Moses and Abraham and Sarah, and you recognize them right away. They're just like us. The humans, they lived thousands of years ago, but they have the same vices and virtues that we have. Human nature is unchangeable. So when they fail to change human nature, Marxists then have to fall back on coercion, if not violence. And that always happens. That is a feature, not a bug of Marxism. Every Marxist system that has ever existed has had to rely on coercion. And I think the American people are too attached to freedom, too attached to their liberties, to really put up with coercion that much longer. So I think this is why you see the pushback against cancel culture, against hate speech, against PC, and because it is really these are coercive techniques that is being used to silence any dissent. So I think my purpose, I believe, with my book is to explain as plainly as I can how this was done, how these groups came about and why they came about, and start change how we talk about this, change the conversation, and get us to think about it differently in a more informed way. And I think that would be the beginning of the process of solution. I really do believe that. I'm not being Pollyannish. I am optimistic that this can be resolved.
You've hit on a central consolation here. This is probably the sole consolation that conservatives have in the popular culture and in politics, which is that reality reasserts itself in the end. It might take a long time. It might 70 years of the Soviet Union. It might take a long time under any other terrible regime on earth. But because you cannot change human nature, ultimately that reality will reassert itself.